Hey everyone, welcome to your daily update for SOL and BTC. We've had some pretty bearish sell downs yesterday just before close, which has led to basically a 24-hour bleed. There's been scalps etc. you can take during that time, but the overall direction has definitely been to the downside. Looking at the liquidity, one of the main issues with this having any chance of going up is that there's just not really a lot of people opening shorts. So there are actually, funnily enough, there are quite a few people opening shorts on BTC, and it's got a bit of liquidity sort of building up, just in this sort of 107 through to that kind of 109 area. So this area is starting to fill up on BTC. However, BTC still has more of a reason to go down anyway, so it doesn't mean too much. SOL has landed on these 170 levels again. It's hit things like the daily support trend. It's hit a lot of levels it should bounce off, but it's just not bouncing. And there's a couple of reasons why that might be. So one is there's either just something really big in play, and none of this really matters because it's all daily. Or the other reason is because people just aren't opening shorts. And when you look at it on this view, you can see we've got these lovely little lines popping up in here on BTC. So although it's got all of this leverage to go and dive into to the downside, it's actually getting a reason to go up because people are actually opening shorts on it. Whereas unfortunately, looking at SOL, we've just got this big air gap. So this level up around 183, this would sort of be confluent with maybe retesting some of the stuff on the daily. But the thing is, if they keep the price down here for too long, then with nothing in between here, there will also be resistance levels that it's closing under, which means it may not even bother to go back up to there. So just have to keep an eye on that for daily close. And if we quickly look at the 7-day, 7-day just screams take another dump, on BTC, and there's a little bit there to take on SOL. And if we look at the 30-day, 30-day is saying, hey, at some point we really should be going and taking some of this stuff to the upside. So let's have a look at these charts. So SOL BTC on the daily, pretty much it's been pushed down into support, and it hasn't broken the downtrend because it's not an accumulation candle. It's gone under some of the interior support trends, so it's in a position where if they just continuously keep selling SOL into BTC and keeping this down here, then it will end up under resistance, and then it can have another rejection. If in say the next 2 hours we get the opposite of what we saw yesterday, which maybe is they just keep it here till that last minute and then they pull it back up a bit. If they do that and we enter back into these 16707 sort of areas, then we could actually have a little bit of a push up. What this whole candle is going to try and do is it's going to try and get the strength back to 17310. And of course, if anyone wants that to not to happen, what they're going to do is just continuously apply sell pressure so that it ends up breaking this accumulation range, and so it can reject off that and then come back down and keep going. So at the moment, it's just basically a battle between someone who really wants SOL not to move up and the general structure that's created, which is where it should be trying to move up. So same thing's actually kind of happening on the weekly. So the weekly actually has landed on support now as well. So that's on that 16528 level. It should be trying to bounce back to the trend, and but if they continuously apply sell pressure, then it'll end up creating a hold level. And if it creates that hold level, then you'll have another rejection and basically continuation to the downside. So yeah, it's just a battle at the moment. There's clearly someone who does not want SOL to be moving in an upwards direction right now. Okay, let's have a look at the safety assets. Yeah, so safety assets, on the other hand, have pushed right through the trend. They've pushed up above the resistance level. So that 66.94 looks like it might be capable of getting closed above today. It's still holding the uptrend, so realistically this is quite bearish for alts. It looks like it's working its way towards attacking these higher levels, and from a daily perspective, if it closes up here, then we could be in for a move to about the 68.05 or the 68.3. This is very, this was that ginormous wick that we got when we had that mass liquidation event. So even if it comes back up to that sort of 69 area, it's still kind of about half of what you saw there. So for this to be good for alts, it really has about 2 hours to pull back down below here, get in under that trend, and then have a bit of a rejection. But realistically, if it doesn't do that in the next 2 hours, then 66.72 is finally becoming hard closed, and even if it does pull back, it can pretty much just bounce off that level the next time it touches it and travel to the upside. So yeah, it's looking pretty bearish for altcoins, that's for sure. And it is a general measure, so clearly it can affect different ones in different ways, but yeah, you can't really expect the entire altcoin market to be going strong if this thing starts to move up. A retrace back to the level might be a fake pump, and that if you're in a long and you're looking at TPing, then yeah, if this does do a pullback to the 66.72 level, that's sort of confluence with any of the other levels you're looking at on the particular token that you're trading. That would be a point to definitely de-risk and get rid of it. So let's have a look at the weekly. Yeah, and the weekly is pushing up through trend. So the weekly should reject if it hits that 68.47 level. So, another dump. Bit more pain for alts and then a rejection from it. But the rejection doesn't necessarily mean it'll lose trend. At most, it could come back down to this 63.76 level. Okay, let's have a look at these totals. So if we look at total 2 on the daily, it's pushed down below the support trend, it's pushed down below the break level, it's landed on the daily origin level. So yeah, this level should be bouncing and it should be taking it back up to try and hit the trend. Now if they can keep that pressure on, what'll end up happening is it'll close below the, should have put a line on there, it'll close below this 143 level. Then it could dip down, tap that, maybe just move in this little area. Like it could become sort of compressed in that area before it either then breaks down or shifts the trend and tries to move up. But as it currently stands, that is still very clearly a daily downtrend, and the candle's too far away from the downtrend to break it tomorrow. So the best it could do is position itself tomorrow and then try to break it the next day. But yeah, as it currently stands, that's overall altcoin daily downtrend still in play. Looking at it from the weekly, this is sort of why I would say just don't expect it really to recover until it actually gets down to this 1.38 level. And of course, it all depends on how it closes the week, because if it closes underneath that level, then guess what? It's gonna keep on moving down. But yeah, this has rejected basically the backside of the trend and that prior support level, and there isn't really anything to catch this until it actually gets down here. So it's really just a waiting game. So that's 1.38 on the total 2. So just keep an eye on that one. And yeah, if you wonder why suddenly strength comes back in when we hit that, then well, it's just because it is a overall market support level. So let's put a little alert on that. Okay, let's have a look at this from the other direction. So it looks like the daily close, so they're trying to push it down below the trend on the DXY totals. So we're still above the break level, but looking bearish. So if we see a reverse event, like yesterday, all the sell pressure came on in that last moments to try and push it down. We might see the opposite. We may see this pull back up here and get back into that 328 area just before the end of the day, and then it could try and attack the trend, but it has to go a long way up to actually be able to break that trend on this candle. It just really can't. Well, actually can't break it at all on this candle, but it has to go a long way up to actually be in a position to open the next one in a breakable spot. So yeah, I'd just not be looking at that and thinking that you're going to get a proper reversal tomorrow. It's you might get the start of one, but that would be about it. Or you might just get a bad close underneath these trends and then another dump, and then we'll move back down to these lower levels. So if we take all the stables out of it, it doesn't look too bad if we take the stables out on the daily. So we're still going to be closing under potentially that 3.33 level, which is the very, very first origin of that whole range. So it's probably not the best level to be closing under on the daily, but it's not the first time. So we've closed under there before and we still managed to make our way back up. So it's not a hard close yet. We're still inside the range trend. We're still holding the break level. So it's not too bad, but it would be much better if it went up. And we're not moving the trends either today, so yeah, there's a better chance of this going down than up. And like all the other time frames, if we're not, well, sorry, like all the other charts, if we're not actually breaking this downtrend, it's not reversing. So let's that look on the weekly. Yeah, it looks a lot worse on the weekly. So complete rejection from the trend and the whole candle. So yeah, really this has to find support somewhere, and I think there is a break level there. It's probably not the kind of thing that will support it. And really the only thing would be the trend. So still heading down. The daily is probably a lot clearer than that, but it's yeah, it's looking pretty nasty. And actually on the weekly. Well, watch this space, see if they pull that back up. It's not a hard close for another 4 days, but yeah, if this is not back up inside that range in the next 4 days, then that's a pretty bad place to be doing a hard close. Right, let's have a look at BTC. Yep, so on the daily with BTC, yesterday they created that hold level by pushing the price down right near the end of the day. They also got in underneath that 109.136 level, so they've pushed back up, rejected that, come down, and now we're going to close underneath the trend. So unfortunately, it's not going to move the trend. It's just going to close under it, and that's kind of annoying because you can't bounce off a trend that's above you. So we have got several levels that it could look to retest. It could look to retest the broken trend, prior broken trend. You've got the 106, the 105 levels here, so 106.317, which we haven't quite hit even in today's little flushes. And then we got the 105 area down there, which is, so that is a, yeah, so that's an origin level, but it's already had its first bounce, which was this move here from 105 up to 113. So the next one, just see if there is one. It doesn't. Sorry, I should have prepared this earlier. Yeah, the whole candle's already been hit by the big dump that we had. So yeah, it's basically this 100K level down here. So that 101.041 level, if we were to get a bit of a mad flush, it would be down to there. And Pretty nasty. So the bull case, of course, is that they sell this back up. But at this stage, it looks like they're trying to actually close it underneath that 107,400. So yeah, if they close under 107,400, that's some serious intention to send this thing down, because I think it's very much the same as the way they pushed it down to close under that 108,350 yesterday. They're basically just breaking each of these levels, and yeah, if they push it back up anything really, like if they push back up above trend, that shows that maybe they want to try and go up. If they push back up above that 107,692, that would mean that they're trying to have some kind of little bounce, but realistically it's still just under a downtrend. So unless it can break through these two little red lines, it's just going to keep going down and breaking horizontal levels. So we shall see. Now we've also got a 5-day close today. So this is also right on the line. So the bottom of the 5-day range is that 107,400 level again. We've also got the range trend coming down here. So yesterday, as you can see, they pushed it down below the key levels, just like on the daily, came up, rejected. Actually, sorry, that was 5 days ago. 5 days ago, they pushed it down under the key levels. And now we went up, had a lovely little fake out to the upside, came back down, closing under the key levels. So the fact that we're closing back under those key levels, and particularly if we do end up, as you can see, zooming right in, it's right there on the line. So 107,400 would be closing underneath basically everything on the 5-day, and that would be very bearish. Even if it pushes back up above that level, closing under the range trend on the 5-day could still send it down, and then of course really it's got to recover that 109 level before the end of the day if it actually wants to try and move back up. So this is looking quite bearish. Being a 5-day candle, it can do similar things to what you see here. It can open the next one and then push up and have a bit of a fake pump or whatever, but somewhere in the next 5 days you'd expect it to be pulling back down if it can't hold those levels, which is kind of where it's at now. And I think there is also, sorry, I'm not very prepared today. Haven't had my morning coffee. There should also be, okay, one moment callers, just going to pause this for a sec. Okay, so looking at the 59-day close today, if they close it below 106,910.8, that's really bearish. That would actually create a 59-day hold level, and that could then break the uptrends, and that'd be a pretty good reason to call bear market, that's for sure, if it does that. It could still bounce on the trend, but yeah, that's just right on the line, really. $400 less than where the price currently sits, and you have a 59-day hold level to try and push the price to the downside. So yeah, pretty nasty. All right, let's look at SOL. Okay, so I said previously SOL was looking quite strong, and it genuinely was looking very strong. And as you can see from looking at the SOLBTC charts at the beginning there, we've found daily support, we've found weekly support. It's just not bouncing, which is really weird. Now, this could just be a big fake out before the end of the day, and maybe this candle pulls its way back up and gets back inside the range and gets back inside the range trend. It may get back inside the upper range there. We also didn't actually test the hold level at the top before we dropped, which was also really strange. So just the SOL price action is just really weird. It kind of implies that it should be going up, but because the overall market and because Bitcoin are dropping, it's just getting dragged down along with everything else. So what we're sort of looking for really is to see this get back to a position where it can actually get out of this downtrend. So to do that, it really has to be up around that 183.8. What is that here? 183.88. 183.88. I really need my coffee before the end of the day. And it is helpful if it's back up inside the range trend, which is pretty close to where it is now. It is absolutely not helpful if it closes where it is now, because it just gives it the opportunity to once again have to fight with two trends, actually, because you'd have the downtrend, and it's come from a position where it was actually above that downtrend, and it had the ability to, if it could have stayed there, it actually could have moved up. And the amount of sell pressure that's just poured into SOL today has pushed it through a whole bunch of key levels, and then basically got it now sitting in a spot where it can flip them into resistance. So yeah, I hate to say it, but it looks like someone really wants to push it off a cliff. And overall, there's a lot of really high time frame stuff going on SOL. So you know, you're talking targets like 123 to the downside, but you're also talking like 286 to the upside, and it's no wonder it sort of seems really volatile right now. But this is just a very small candle. Even though it's a one-day candle, it's just a very small part of some of the bigger stuff that's actually going on with us. So as far as taking a trade on this, I don't think I'll add any more to any longs until we see sort of like the 160s, if it is to go down. And certainly if it retests any of these daily levels up here, I think it's just a case of taking my profits and moving on. So if it pushes down and closes below this trend, then I'll just cut the position and not have a long on this at all, because it's yeah, that would be very bearish intention if it pushes down and closes below these levels in the next hour and 38 minutes. Okay, looking at the 5-day, similar sort of thing really. The 5 days just been held down in this little area here, and it's a really bad place to close a candle because it's underneath the range trend. It's just above the main support trends. It's kind of creating, it depends exactly where it closes, but if it closes exactly here, then it's converting 175.617 into a 5-day origin support level. So if it pushes down and just simply touches that level in the next 1 hour and 37 minutes, then it's not, and it's just a straight break level, so no real support. But also where it's closing is it's closing underneath that 179.856 level. So we really need to get back up above that level. Otherwise, even the support level that gets created here pretty much is only capable of moving the price by a few dollars before it runs into resistances again. So yeah, it's pretty bearish. And you can see how when that candle on the 5-day closed under here, it bounced off the range trend, went all the way up to that other level up there, which had been hard closed and needed to be retested, about that 197, and then it's just been rejecting off that towards close again. So yeah, we may see a similar thing. We might get a bit of a push to the upside, but yeah, hard closing below that 184.827 level. It's pretty bearish. Need this thing to bounce and start closing back up above these levels instead of below them. This doesn't really, there is sort of a local downtrend in this, but the trend's up about 200, 209. So it's yeah, don't know what to make of that, but I think if anything, we really just need to fast forward an hour and 36 minutes and see what they do. Closing here is just painful, but pushing up could show that they are going to bounce, and pushing down could create a dump straight down to this 161 level. So yeah, it's a pretty key spot. Okay. And somewhere unorganized. There we are, 59-day. And this is kind of, well, if there was one chart that was a bit scary, it's this one. So this is going to open on the wrong side of that trend. 201 being the break level and 204 being the range trend that it pulled back under. And the opposite range trend is down there in the 130s, so about 133. And the next trend, if it was to fall straight down to test one of the standard trends, that's like about 126 through to 120. And the origin support level is 109. And this could definitely happen. So yeah, it's a bit of a bearish looking place for a candle to open. So it doesn't have to go up before it goes down either. It literally could just open and drop. So yeah, definitely make sure if you're in a leverage long right now, be very careful, because this is the kind of thing that can just send the price down. All right. How's that for a really bearish video? Hope your shorts are going well. And yeah, like, subscribe, and hopefully they just push the price back up a little bit before the end of the day, and things don't look so bad. But yeah, this time frame, 59-day, they would really have to push that up a lot before the end of the day. It means basically, what, before the end of the day, they have to be closing somewhere over that 200 level, which yeah, I don't think is going to happen. The more of these closes we've seen over the last few days, the more it looks like if we get a retest of anything around 200, 204, it's just a get out at that, because if it hits these levels again and rejects off them, then the next ones down are pretty far down. So right, we'll catch you again. Oh, hey, Tesla, where's that? This is way easier to predict than than SOL or BTC. So yeah, if you just go through the last 3 days worth of videos, closed up, had wick, moved trend, rejected, suggested hold level or prior trend, and there you go. That's all it's done. So it's nothing changes today. Doesn't break supports, doesn't move anything. We get rid of one interior, which is this one. If it opens back up above that 440 level, which was that prior trend coming through there, if it opens back up above that level, then it'll probably just bounce up again to test the top side here. It does look like it could. The next day, though, might create a top, so just careful of that. If the next candle is a yellow candle with a wick and it pulls back down below the 443 area before close, then it can create some kind of topside range trend like that, which then can hit and then have a deeper rejection now that it's tested that hold level. So it'll have there'll be a range trend in there like that. So yeah, so it could come back to that 431 after revisiting whatever range trend it creates to the upside if you have another update. But yep, overall it's still holding structure. Got to keep a bit of an eye on it though, because it would only take 2 more candles really for it to lose that uptrend, and then that could set off the process of it coming down, retesting some of these broken range trends, or retesting the bottom of the range at 411. So that's, yeah, but that 411 should be relatively good support, because it was a break level that was hit, went up, came back, retest this whole area here, have another bounce. That's Tesla. All right, catch you later. This is me without coffee, by the way.